everybody. So what is the name of the Native Americans that are from Los Angeles County? I'm going to end the polling and I'm going to share the results with everybody. So it looks like 33% think that it's the Apaches. And some other people think that it's the Tongva. And Lakota got 0 votes, which was good because Lakotas are nowhere near here. Totally not even in this state. So everybody did really good in knowing that there's no Lakotas in Southern California. The Native Americans that are indigenous to this area are the Tongva. So congrats to everybody who got that correct. I'm very proud of you. So hello everybody, my name is Brittany. I am the Museum Education Coordinator of the Guild Museum of Arcadia Heritage, and I'm so excited that you're all here today. This program is gonna be about an hour, so if you need to use the bathroom, go get a snack, go get some water, you're completely okay to do so. You don't have to ask me permission to do that. If you have any questions, there is a Q&A button at the very, very bottom, so you can put your questions there, and me or Miss Kimberly, who is also here with me, we will try to answer those for you. If you have a comment, you can put that in the chat. So Divya already did put something in the chat. Very good, Divya. I'm glad that you know how to use the chat. I'm also joined today by Miss Kimberly. She is the museum education intern here at the Guild Museum. There's her hand, there's Kimberly. Alrighty, everybody, and I'm really excited. I hope that you all have your kits. You should have picked up your kits from the Guild Museum. If you have not done so, that's completely fine. You still have time to do it. I will keep them at the museum. Just make sure that you have your parents let me know. So today we're going to be talking about the Tongva, which are known as Arcadia's first settlers. Tongva are indigenous to this area. Does anybody know what the word indigenous means? Indigenous means the first people who have lived in any area or region. So the Tongva were the very first people to ever live in the Los Angeles area and what is today known as Arcadia. And when we talk about Native Americans, it's really important that we not lump all Native Americans together. All different types of Native Americans had different experiences. They have their own histories. They have their own culture. So they're not the same. They're all completely different. The Tongva are the ones that are from here, and they have their own distinct culture, different from any other type of Native Americans. We're going to be learning all about them today. And we're going to be learning about them through their food, their language, and we're going to learn about some of their history. So, has anybody ever been to the Los Angeles County Arboretum? Maybe you have. If you have, you might have seen a big lake in the Arboretum known as Baldwin Lake. That's sometimes what it's called. But many, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, that was actually where the very first settlement in Arcadia was. And it was settled by Tongva people, and they named it Alukigna, which means the place of many waters. And today we're also going to be anthropologists. I'm really excited, but before we do that, I just want to be clear, anthropologists do not study dinosaurs. That's paleontologists. Anthropologists and paleontologists, they sometimes get confused. If you were with me last week, we learned about paleontology, which is the study of fossils, but today we're going to do anthropology, which is the study of human beings and their culture. One really important way that you can learn about other people's cultures is through their food. Does anybody have their own favorite food from your own culture that you like? I definitely do. But today we're going to be learning about the food of the Tongva. So in your kits, you should have 2 recipes, and they're on these very fun cards that I printed up. I included 2 recipes. There's one for chia power bars and then another one for a prickly pear frozen cactus treat. And I definitely encourage you to take a look at both of those. They're really cool. And these are actual recipes that were written by Tongva people. And isn't that super cool? Because You might not have ever seen these recipes before. There's not a lot of Tongva cookbooks out there, but we do have one here at the Guild Museum. It's called Cooking the Native Way, and it's done by the Chia Cafe Collective. And this is a cookbook that we actually have in the Guild Museum. Kimberly is showing it off on the screen right now. And this is actually a book all about Tongva culture and includes many of their recipes. And isn't that super cool? If you want to take a look at this recipe book, you can definitely stop by the Guild Museum. I would love to show it to you. It's pretty cool. You can't find it in every single bookstore. There's a prickly pear cactus frozen treat that we're going to be learning about today. And there's so many more. You can look at the history of chia seeds, which is a native food, sage. It's all in there. And even things like acorns and nopales, which is cactus. Today, what you have in your kit is this funny little clothespin with some magnets on it, and this is going to be your recipe holder. You also should have a baggie in your kit that has some funny little shapes. These are kind of like foam stickers, so let's take those out of our kits. And you can use them to decorate your recipe holder however you want. If you have markers, you could also use those to decorate your kits. Unfortunately, we did not include any of them in our kits, but if you have them at home, you could definitely use them to decorate your recipe holder. And if you want to later show me what your recipe holder looks like, I would love to check it out. And I'll put my email so you could send me some pictures. And I would love to see all of your photos of all the things that you do today. So Kimberly is demonstrating how you can use your foam stickers to decorate your recipe holders, and I'm doing it too, but I'm just doing mine off screen. I love these foam stickers. I think they're so much fun. And so Kimberly has hers. Hers is full of stars. Mine has a bunch of random shapes. And you can use these, and you're going to use them to clip onto your recipes. And you could include these on your refrigerator so that one day, if you would like to actually make these, you can do so, and you could just look at your fridge and it'll have your recipe on it. I definitely recommend doing the prickly pear frozen cactus treat because it's been really hot outside, and I think that this is a great way to calm down. And what better way to cool down? And what better way to cool down than with a really cool frozen Tongva food? That recipe was created by Leslie Morikand, who is Tongva. And then the chia power bars were, that's a recipe that was done by Craig Torres, who is also from the Tongva. And so now that you have your recipe holder ready, let's put this to the side. If you want to already run and put this on your refrigerator, that's completely fine. And I'll give you all a minute to do that. And then if you have these little white parts from your little adhesive foam shapes, let's make sure that we throw those away as well. All right, so for the next activity, what everybody is going to need is a pair of scissors. So let's all very carefully and safely grab a pair of scissors. We didn't include scissors in everybody's kits just because it's very expensive and a little dangerous. But if you have scissors, let's go grab those. If you need help with cutting, I definitely recommend that you ask a parent, a grandparent, or an older sibling for help. And then Eloise, I did see your question in the Q&A section. The recipe holder is going to hold your 2 recipes that we gave you. It's these 2 recipes, and you're going to use your recipe holder and you're going to clip them together, and then this has a magnet so you can attach it to your refrigerator so that you can look at your recipes and you can get inspired the next time you cook in the kitchen. So in both of those recipes that we looked at, you might have seen that both of them mentioned chia. Chia is like this little seed that comes from a flowering plant that can be found throughout California. And chia seeds are a very important part of Tongva culture. And if you've never seen chia seeds before, Miss Kimberly, she's going to show some on screen. They're very, very, very tiny. They are really good to add to your food. They make things nice and crunchy. It's really cool to learn about the different names that different peoples have for certain plants. So as I said before, the Tongva, they used chia. They called chia seeds pashi, Pashiiy. When you learn about how different cultures use different kinds of plants, that's something that's called ethnobotany. Ethnobotany is the study of traditional plant use. The word ethno comes from the word study of people, and then botany is the study of plants. So you're studying the plants that people used. I really like doing ethnobotany. I studied history in college, and we're actually going to be doing a really interesting ethnobotany activity today. So in your kits, you should have this activity, and at the very top, it actually does say ethnobotany activity. We're going to be looking at some of the plants that Tongva Native Americans used in and around Los Angeles. So step number one is that you're going to separate both of these pages. They're connected by a staple, so you can just separate those. Don't worry if you get that little tear in the top corner, no worries. And you can see that we actually have some really cool drawings that were made by one of our volunteers here at the Guild Museum, Jonathan. And it has some plants that Tongva Native Americans use. So for example, we have agave, and we have California lilac. Both were used for medicinal purposes by the Tongva. We also have some acorns. You can see the acorns next to the leaves. Acorns from the coast live oak tree were used to make flour. And Tongva actually would eat the flour from acorns in soup form. And that was actually a big staple of their diet. And then we also have the prickly pear cactus. You might have seen those before. You might even have it in your garden. It's very common around Southern California. And prickly pear cactus was actually eaten. And as you might remember, we included the prickly pear cactus frozen treat in the recipes. So that's actually one way that you can see how they use cactus. But what we also did here is me and Kimberly included the Tongva names for a lot of these plants. So for example, the coast live oak was known as wet, agave was known as amul, prickly pear was known as navot, and the California lilac was known as ishwish. What we're going to do next is we're going to very safely take our pair of scissors and we're going to cut out each of the squares, each of the drawings. Right now they are in black and white, but if you would like to color these later, you definitely can. We're just not going to do it right now on screen for the sake of time. Make sure to be very careful when you're using the scissors. If you need help from a parent, a grandparent, an older sibling, aunt, uncle who happens to be there, you can definitely ask them for help. What we're going to be making today is a guide that you can use when you're going around Southern California, and you can try to see if you can identify some of the plants that we included. And if you do see one of the plants, you can point out to whomever that you're with that you actually do know the Tongva word for that plant. This might be something that's really cool if you go to the Arboretum. The Arboretum is very close to here. You can check out some of the plants there. They have a lot of them. I know that they have a lot of prickly pear cactus at the Arboretum, and they have a lot of coast live oaks. I'm not quite sure about California lilac, but I think you can see it a lot if you go camping in this area as well. Kimberly's already finished cutting. I'm more of a slow scissors user, but that's okay. So I'm just going to take my time cutting these out. Next, if you have a glue stick, what you're going to do is you're going to match up the pictures with their corresponding squares. So definitely glue them now and later. If you have colored pencils, if you have crayons, if you have markers, you can definitely complete the activity by coloring all of the pictures. And as you can see, Miss Kimberly has put hers together. I think that looks very nice. And now you know 4 words for 4 different native plants. And as before, if we have trash, we're going to put that to the side, and we're going to take our ethnobotany activity and also put it to the side. Alrighty, everybody. I'm very excited if everybody's having a good time. If you have any questions, make sure that you put them in the Q&A section. If you have a comment, you could put it in the chat, and I would love to take a look at all of the things that y'all are saying. For the next activity, you're going to go inside your kit and you're going to find a piece of clay, and it's going to be in a baggie, just like this one. You will also need a piece of wax paper that should also be in your kit. And you need this guide that has a lot of California Native American symbols. Right now, we're going to learn all about petroglyphs. We already learned some words in the Tongva language, but now we're going to look at how they wrote, because that's a little different. So Tongva wrote using petroglyphs. Does anybody know what a petroglyph is? A petroglyph is a prehistoric rock carving that's made using symbols. Many other cultures in history have also used petroglyphs. Maybe the most famous one that we all probably know about is Egyptians. Egyptians use what we also know as hieroglyphics. The Tongva were very similar, where the symbols would actually mean different words. But a lot of these are very open to interpretation, and they didn't write them all out in a line. Sometimes they wrote them in a circle. Sometimes they were all just put together. But we're going to be looking at petroglyphs today. So first, let's take out our clay from our plastic baggies. If your clay is really cold, it might be a little hardened, but you can just warm it up in your hands. And then what we're going to do is we are going to roll it in our hand so it's like a ball. And this is kind of similar to what we did last week if you were here with me for the Dinos program. But we're going to go in a little bit of a different direction. So when you have your clay in a nice ball, you don't want any cracks in it. You want it to be completely smooth on the surface. You're going to put it in on one side of your wax paper, and then you're going to fold it over. And you're going to use your hands to flatten it. Last week, we made sure that it was a little thick. We wanted it to be about 1/2 inch thick. But this time we want it to be really, really thin and really, really flat. So this is gonna probably take us a little while, but that's okay. If you want to take it out and flatten it between your hands, that's okay too. If maybe you have a book with you, you can do that as well. But let's make sure that we give ourselves as much surface area as possible, because we're going to be using this clay and we are going to write on it. All All right, so I have gone ahead and I have made a circle. It's kind of the size of the palm of my hand, if you can take a look at that. And looks like Miss Kimberly has the same. We're going to put this to the side for just 1 minute, and we're going to look at our petroglyphs. Now, Miss Kimberly is going to demonstrate how to write out petroglyphs with a marker, just because it's a little easier to see. And so she has her circle. So we're going to pretend that that's clay right now. We have all of these symbols from California native rock art, and a lot of them are very interpretive. So if we look at some of the symbols, you could see that they are very, very broad. They're not really very specific. They're not like words. So it looks like Miss Kimberly, she's drawing like a man and then a woman. You can use your symbols and your petroglyph, and you're going to write out a story in clay. For example, if you draw the symbol sun, woman, bear, river, mountain, and happy, the story could read, one day a woman saw a bear near the river on her way to the mountains, and it made her happy. I encourage you to be very imaginative with your stories. You can use all of these symbols. These are not all of the symbols that California Native Americans would use. There were definitely a lot more. But let's take a moment and let's write out the symbols that we would like for our stories. So I think I want mine to have a bear in it because I like bears. And I'm going to take a moment and I'm going to actually carve it into my clay. And then I'll also do bird tracks. So maybe I'm saying that a bear and a bird, they were together. And then I think I'm going to do the symbol for friendship, because in my petroglyph story, I want my bear and my bird to be really good friends. And so perhaps you might not be able to see it very well, but here is my petroglyph story. I have my bear symbol, my birds, and then the 2 crossed arrows, which means friendship. When you're finished with your petroglyphs, you're going to put it on your wax paper, and then you're going to make sure to put it somewhere where it does not get disturbed. So you want to keep it very safe. I definitely recommend to put it in some place like the kitchen so that nothing can fall on it, and so that it's warm enough where it'll harden. This is air dry clay. It'll take about 24 hours for it to completely harden. So if you want to change your story within the 24 hours, you definitely can. But I definitely recommend that you finish it very soon because it dries fairly quickly. But it'll harden really nicely, and you can have your petroglyphs as an example for a really long time. So I'll give everybody a few minutes to put away their petroglyphs. Yashika cannot see Miss Kimberly. Oh no, I'm so sorry about that, Yashika. I will definitely upload this as a video to our YouTube page so you could check it out later. Sometimes I know that you have to probably toggle between the screens, maybe like in a gallery view, but hopefully we can help you out. And you can definitely see it later if you don't at least see it now. I'm so sorry about that, Yashika. And I'm so sorry if I'm mispronouncing your name. You can definitely correct me. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to put on our archaeology caps, and we're going to look for the page in our kit that says archaeology activity. You're also going to need something to write with. Maybe if you have a pencil or a pen nearby, Miss Kimberly is going to be using a marker just so that it's easier to see on the screen. You will also need your excavation kit that is in your kits. They kind of look like rocks, And if you were with us last week, there were dinosaurs hidden inside, but this week there's something else hidden inside. So let's take a look. So Miss Kimberly is going to demonstrate how to tear apart an excavation kit with some popsicle sticks. This is a really dirty activity, so if you have a big plastic bowl or want to do this outside, I definitely encourage you to do so because it's very rocky, very dirty. I believe that last week Eloise used a chisel for hers, which is really cool. If you're going to use tools like that, I definitely encourage you to ask a parent about it, just because I want to make sure that you're all okay. Now, these excavation kits are not going to have dinosaurs in them, just so you know. Oh, Aaron does not see Miss Kimberly either. Oh dear. Interesting. I'm so sorry about that. I am not sure why not everybody. Oh. Okay, now we can see Miss Kimberly. I am so sorry about that, everybody. I will make sure to put everybody on gallery view next time. I'm still learning how to use the webinar version of Zoom. So sorry about that. Okay, so Kimberly is demonstrating how to go through an excavation kit. It's really fun. It does not have a dinosaur in it, just so that you are all aware. And let's remember that the word excavation means the careful removal of dirt or soil to see what is hidden underneath. Archaeologists, they will excavate often. They'll do excavation digs in different places. Miss Stevie, who is the curator of the Guild Museum, she has done them in places like Colorado and Mount San Jacinto. And as you might be able to see, if you can see Kimberly, she is very close to revealing what is hidden inside of her kit. I'm so sorry for those who are not able to see Kimberly, but definitely feel free to check out the recorded video later if you want to see what she's been up to. So, if you have already gotten through your excavation kit, you might have found something that looks like this. This is an arrowhead, or as archaeologists and anthropologists call them, projectile points. Tongva Native Americans, they did use arrowheads. They did not use them in bows and arrows. They actually used something called an atlatl, which translates to spear thrower. So arrowheads for Tongva Native Americans were actually on the top of spears, not arrows. To make sure that we are being just like archaeologists, we are going to actually do an analysis of our projectile points. In your kit, you should also have a paper ruler, and this is in centimeters. What you're going to do is use this to actually do an analysis of your projectile point. So going back to our archaeology activity, we first need to answer question 1. What did you find in your excavation kit? And let's make sure to use the proper nomenclature. And we're going to say projectile point. And if you need help spelling, I will write it in the chat. Projectile. And so that is the answer to question 1. Next, you need to answer, what color is your arrow? Everybody should have a different one. Mine is black. What do you think yours is, Kimberly? Brown. Kimberly's is brown. So make sure to answer it for question 2. We all might get different colors, but that's completely fine. It's okay to be different. And just so you can all see, this is what mine looks like. And you can see Kimberly's also. Next, we're going to take out our paper rulers and we're going to see how long our arrows are. So starting from the beginning, mine is 3.5 centimeters long. So here it is on my paper ruler. Next, you need to look at how wide your projectile point is. So mine is about, and you want to look at how wide it is at the widest point. So mine is 1.5 centimeters wide. And if you need help using a ruler, it's completely fine to ask for help. Lastly, let's draw our arrows. And I'm not the best drawer out there, but I'm going to attempt my best. Oh yes, Yoshiko, I will definitely try to slow down. I'm just going to take some time to color in my arrow. If you are finished excavating, I would love to hear what color arrows you got. So if you already know what you got, why don't you put it in the chat? And I'll do it too, just so that I'm doing the same thing as black. Oh, and Kimberly, she put hers that she got brown. How's everybody doing with their excavation? I hope everybody's doing really good. No worries if you need to take more time, and we will try to go slower for everybody. Oh, Erin is still digging. That's completely fine. I know that those excavation kits definitely take a while to get through. If anybody would like to do this activity again, we actually have some extra excavation kits. So feel free to stop by the Guild Museum if you would like one of our extras. How's everybody doing? I hope everybody's still doing A-okay. And I totally apologize for going too quickly. And remember, if you're finished excavating, let me know what color your projectile point was. okay. I think Aaron just is really close to finishing up. Alrighty, and I'm going to throw up a poll so everybody can let me know what color projectile point you got. Okay, so somebody said brown, somebody said black. Maybe that's Aaron, I'm not sure. It's okay. And remember, these kits are made out of plaster, so you definitely do not want to put any of it down the sink. If you have any trash, I definitely recommend that you throw it in the trash. If you want to use water to clean it off, I definitely recommend that you use a hose outside. It looks like some people have not answered the color of their projectile point yet. That's okay. That's on me for going too fast. So we will wait just a few more minutes so that everybody can finish excavating their arrowheads. Okay, looks like a lot of people are getting brown arrowheads, but that's okay. Oh, okay. Everybody's changing, everybody's voting. It looks like we're waiting on 3 more people. That's completely okay. Anybody have any good plans? Has anybody been watching Monsters, Inc. Monsters at Work? I actually really like that show. It's really funny. Okay, we're still waiting on 3 people, but that's completely okay. It's okay to take your time. And remember, if you do want more excavation kits, you can definitely get them from us here at the Guild Museum. We have so many extra that our teen volunteers made, and me and Kimberly aren't going to take them home, so somebody should have them. Alrighty, we're still waiting on those 3 people. Those who are still excavating, are you still excavating, or are you working on the archaeology activity? Let me know. I don't want to go too fast. Wow, and there's less questions than last time. I like when there's less questions. I feel like that means that I answered everybody's questions in the program. Makes me feel better. Oh, cool. Erin is working on the drawing now. Excellent. I finished my drawing. You feel like kind of looks like mine. I think my actual one is a little skinnier than in my drawing. Feel free to trace and then draw. I feel like that would have been a really good one. Okay. Kimberly said she's going to try to trace hers and then color it. Oh, okay. It looks like we have only 2 people who are still working on their excavations, so that we can know what color projectile point everybody got. Looks like most people got brown. Interesting. Kimberly has one next to her that's actually purple. I don't know if it comes out very purple on the screen. That was my favorite one. It is a cool color. I really like that one. It kind of looks pinky on the screen, but that's okay. And I definitely apologize to all those who were not able to see Kimberly's screen. Some people said that they weren't able to see the polls. I think that you have to download the latest version of Zoom to see all of that. So I really apologize. All right. Just because it looks like a lot of people are finished, that was actually the very last activity in the kit. Me and Kimberly will stick around for a little while until 11 so that those who are finished, they can go. If you have questions, I'd love to answer your questions. I do a similar Tongva program for third graders in schools. I do it as a school program, and we make Tongva English dictionaries. If any of you wants to learn all about that, you could definitely ask me. If you want to stop by the museum, you definitely can. We have a lot of really cool Tongva artifacts that are actually on display that you can look at, and some of them you can even touch. This is the second of our summer enrichment programs. We're going to have 2 more. Join us next Saturday for one all about the Wild West and early California. I'm really excited about that one. And then after that, we're going to have another one on Saturday, July 31st called Arcadia Today and Tomorrow, Leaving Your Legacy. We will also be having educational kits available every month for the rest of 2021. So definitely ask me about that if you have any questions. If you have not gotten those kits from us before, you could definitely ask me and I'll send links out every single month. If you're completely finished, you are free to go. If you have questions, feel free to ask us in the chat. Thank you so much, Divya. It was really good to have you. I'll see you next week. Bye. For those of you who are still working on your kits, okay. It looks like 100% of everybody voted. Looks like most everybody got a brown projectile point, which is really interesting. Thank you, Erin. It was really nice to have you. Me and Kimberly will stick around. So if you don't have any questions, you'll just have to listen to our banter. Our back and forth. All right, thank you, everybody. It was really lovely to have you all. And I will put this video up on, I'll put this video up on YouTube. I'm also working on the dinos one. I'm still working on that one. I think we used all the items, correct? Answering all the questions. I did mention that in the answer. I said that that's just like our promotional material. We have stickers and pencils in every single kit, just so that everybody can have a really nice Guild Museum pencil and our really excellent Guild Museum sticker. All of our stickers are designed by our volunteers. So they're pretty cool. Yeah, the one with the bear and then the one with the coyote and the parrot and the one with the bee were actually all designed by our volunteer Jesselyn. Yeah. Yes, Chica. So the stickers and the pencils, those are completely for you. You can use them. You can give them away. Yeah, we give them out in every single kit. So if you picked up every kit from us, you'd get like 15 pencils in the end. Yeah. It's definitely a lot. We just like to include them for everybody. Thank you, Lori. I'll definitely include this on our YouTube page, so definitely check that out. I'm so sorry for all the technical details. Alrighty, okay. Well, I guess since everybody is mostly leaving, maybe we'll end a little early today, about 10 minutes. All right, thank you, Lori. Thank you, Yashika. Oh, there's another. Okay. Alrighty, and if any of you has any questions, you could definitely send me an email. Aside from that, bye. We'll see you next week.